Hello and welcome. Well, we've made it. After a deep dive into the invisible world of radio frequency interference, this is it, our final briefing. Today is all about pulling everything we've learned together into a powerful, actionable game plan.
And what a journey it's been, right? Just so we're all on the same page, this is part 20 of our 20-part tutorial, Radio Frequency Interference Beyond Wi-Fi, all thanks to the experts at RFI Detectives. If you've been with us since the beginning, seriously, thank you. Today, we're going to make all that knowledge really stick.
So, let's get right to it. After 19 chapters of getting into the nitty-gritty, what does it all come down to? What are the absolute must-know rules for winning the fight against RFI? That's exactly what we're going to nail down today.
All right, first, let's zoom out for a second. RFI, it's basically that invisible gremlin that makes your garage door openers suddenly go deaf or your car's key fob play dead in a packed parking lot. It's a fundamental, pervasive challenge in our super wireless world, and it messes with the gadgets we rely on every single day.
But here's the good news. We're not just victims here. The whole point of this series has been to give you a playbook, a solid strategy for understanding the battlefield and knowing exactly which tactics to use to keep all your devices humming along smoothly.
And this right here, this is your map of those battlegrounds. You can see the 300 to 400 megahertz range. That's where your garage door openers live, often cluttered up with other household signals. Then you've got 315 and 433 megahertz for key fobs, which totally explains why they act up in crowded areas. The 900 megahertz band is often dealing with legacy stuff like old cordless phones. And then there's the big one, 2.4 gigahertz. It's just a chaotic free-for-all party with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, baby monitors, you name it. Knowing this is step one to figuring out what's going wrong.
So, how do we fight back? This is your essential toolkit. These are your go-to moves. First up, separation. Seriously, physical distance is your absolute best friend when it comes to RFI. Second, grab some ferrite filters. Those little clips you put on cables, they are fantastic for choking out unwanted noise. Third, grounding. This is non-negotiable. A solid ground is the bedrock of a stable system. And finally, when you have the option, coordinate your frequencies. Try not to have all your gadgets yelling on the exact same Wi-Fi channel.
Now, having the right tools is one thing, but what we're really talking about here is having the right mindset. The real win isn't just fixing a problem when it pops up. It's about shifting your thinking to a proactive strategy that stops problems before they even start. And that winning mindset really rests on these three pillars. Number one, be proactive. When a device starts acting a little flaky or its range seems to be getting worse, that's your signal to investigate. Don't wait for it to fail completely. Number two, buy smarter. Look for devices with quality engineering. Proper shielding, good filtering. It might cost a few extra bucks, but it'll save you so many headaches. And third, know the rules of the game. On those unlicensed bands we talked about, your device legally has to accept interference from other devices. It's just a reality we have to design around.
And this quote from RFI Detectives really hits the nail on the head. This problem isn't going away. In fact, it's only getting more complex. The airwaves are getting more and more crowded, which means we have to constantly pay attention to the devices we choose, where we put them, and how we mitigate interference. Speaking of the future, the next massive challenge is already knocking at our door. I'm talking about huge spectrum congestion, and it's being driven by one thing above all else, the Internet of Things, or IoT.
I mean, just look at the difference here. Think about it. Yesterday, you had maybe a handful of wireless devices in your home, all kind of doing their own thing. Tomorrow, it's a digital traffic jam. We're talking dozens of smart devices, your lights, your thermostat, your security cams, even your fridge, all trying to shout over each other on the same limited frequencies.
And the scale of this is just mind-boggling. We're looking at projections of over 50 billion connected devices by 2030. Every single one of those is fighting for a slice of the radio spectrum pie. This isn't some far-off sci-fi problem. This is the world we are actively building right now.
So after all that, what's the one thing you should walk away with? It's simple. Empowerment. It's knowing that you now have the clarity and the tools to actually take control of your own wireless world.
Think of this as your new RFI mandate. Because of what you've learned, you can now diagnose problems with confidence. You can tell the difference between an interference issue and just a broken gadget. You have the toolkit to fix most common problems yourself. And just as important, you know when you're in over your head and it's time to call on a pro or even get regulators involved.
Which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In a world where literally everything is becoming wireless, is understanding RFI still a niche skill for hobbyists and engineers, or has it become an absolutely essential life skill for navigating the modern world?
I'll let you decide. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive.